All right. Here we are. All right, there it is. Some people are joining, at least here on Instagram. This is my very first ever live on Instagram and on YouTube, where it looks like there's one person. Hello. I'm going to be going back and forth between the two. It would be my preference if everyone followed me on YouTube. Hey, Crunch Chevy Chase. Who is that? Who's behind the Crunch Chevy Chase? Um, if I had $50, how could I flip it legitimately easily? There's no easy. You can't. Trump coin has me really really worried. Just because he's going to have to sell it, conflict of interest. You know, he's going to have to sell the thing, and it's gonna rug pull. He's probably the largest. He's probably the largest shareholder or coin holder or whatever. Um, so it just makes me a little nervous. And let me just say, for everyone who's new here today, if this is your first time on any of my lives, I'm predominantly or was predominantly on TikTok. Um, Live on Instagram sucks, by the way. This is my first time going live on Instagram. There's no green screen. I can't have the little green screen behind me. If you know me from my lives on TikTok, there's I've been trading for 20 years, investing for 20 years, and here are some of my stocks and all of that stuff. You can't do it on YouTube either. It looks like. Um, so that sucks. But one thing that it does say on my live is please wait, don't spam the chat. I try to answer everybody's question. So the way it goes, you ask me a question, I'll answer it, and then I'll scroll to the very bottom and I'll try and answer everything that I can. Do you think the markets will move up due to the inauguration? It's possible. I'm seeing some comments here on YouTube as well, so I'm going to be going back and forth. So give me a second to get used to this because normally I'm just here on my phone on TikTok. Um, do you think markets will continue to move up this week due to the inauguration? It's possible. It could be hype. It could be the opposite. Markets could tank. Bonds have gone up recently. When bonds go up, that usually means people are worried about the economy and they're seeking safer investments like through government bonds, which means they don't want to be investing in the stock market. Why wouldn't they want to invest in the stock market? Maybe they're worried about Trump's policies. Maybe they're worried about the overall state of the stock market, which has seen record highs over the last 4 years. That's normal to see and expect profit taking. Um, Someone here on YouTube says, it sucks. Here, the setup sucks. Let's see what we got. I'm going to go to the bottom here on Instagram and see what I'm missing. I'm just seeing a lot of people joining, but no questions. Cool screen on your wall. This is called a tidbit. There's a link in my bio if you want to buy one. There's no discount, and they're kind of overpriced. Do you do crypto too? Yes, I do. I invest in crypto. Couldn't tell you anything more than I have some. I'm not a crypto guy. I'm a stock guy. That being said, I still am heavily invested in Bitcoin. I'm heavily invested in Ethereum. But generally speaking, those are it for me. Outside of that, I have smaller positions in speculative stuff or more risky crypto investments. Let's see here. Someone just says, or trade stocks. Oh, there's no coin you suggest to buy. No, I don't suggest anything because I don't give financial advice. The whole point of my channel, if you're new here on Instagram or YouTube, is that I don't give any financial advice. That's not the point of my channel. I started on YouTube. Actually, I started on YouTube and Instagram around 6 or 7 years ago because my friends were asking me, and my friends were saying, "Hey, we want to learn. Hey, can you help me teach me about the stock market?" And I would teach them. And then a week later, 2 weeks later, another friend would call, and then another friend would call. And I was like, man, all my friends are calling, and they're all asking the exact same questions. So I'm going to make a video. I'm going to put it on YouTube. And anytime someone asks me a question, I'll just send them the link. But then my friends kind of stopped asking. And the video was up there. The video was up. And I was like, this isn't cool. Like, there's helpful stuff there. So I set the video to public. I got an Instagram account to promote it. And after about a year, I had 200 followers. It wasn't really going anywhere. And I was like, no, this was dumb. I'm going to stop. Until someone told me to get on TikTok, and it all kind of changed. Let's see here. Would it be possible? I'm on YouTube now. What are your top 5 altcoins? I don't have one. With possible tariffs on the horizon, would it make sense for U.S. blue chip stocks to have a green 2025? It's hard to say because One, is Trump going to do these impose the tariffs that he says he's going to impose? I think he will. Will it be as high as he says? I don't know. Maybe he's going really high and then he'll skew lower. Only time will tell. The other thing is, when these tariffs get put on the products that we buy, like a water bottle or something like that, this water bottle now becomes, 20, 30% more expensive. They're not just going to raise it by the tariff, they're going to raise it even more to make more money, which could backfire. It means they might sell fewer water bottles. So it's hard to say. Whether it will benefit these companies. It could benefit them in the short term because they'll maybe make more money on fewer sales, which is kind of what we saw happen with Chipotle. Um, when Chipotle raised their prices, same store sales dropped a little bit, but they made more money because they had raised the prices. But that's not sustainable long term. There's only so many times you can raise, raise, raise. And the thing is, you can't really lower prices. I know on some things you can lower prices, like flat screen TVs used to be like $1,000, and now you can get one for like, $200. But that's because mass adoption. Everyone was buying them, and it was able to lower the cost, which is sometimes what we see with technology. When the new thing comes out, it's super expensive. A new car comes out, it's super expensive. We see this with Rivian too. They have to price it really high to make back what they've invested. But over time, they can start lowering the cost as they get more clients and they make more money. But usually speaking, when it comes to things like eggs or groceries or dining out in restaurants or clothes and shoes and stuff like that, they don't usually lower prices. They just try to not raise them as fast. Danny Crypto, green screen. There is no green screen, at least that I can find on Instagram. All right, I'm going to go to the bottom and I'm going to work my way back up and see what I've missed. My kids are begging for Vine to come back. Trump coin going to the moon. Good luck. Thoughts on Lily? My thoughts don't really matter. The thing I would urge you all to do is go to my website, which is just my name. If you've never been to my website before, I know everyone on TikTok is probably used to hearing me say this by now, but if you go on kennethsuna.com, it's my first name and my last name, and you click on the menu, which will be right up here. Well, on YouTube, the camera is reversed. It'll be up here on YouTube on the top of your screen, and if you're on your phone, it'll be on the bottom of your screen. It's just those three little bars. You click on that, the menu pops open, and it's got everything you need. It's got my course, which is free. It's got my templates, which are free. It's got my guide, which is free. It has all these resources that are all free. There's not even an email sign up. So if you've never been, you should go. And what you're looking for is my fundamental analysis template. I got on social media to teach people, not share my opinions. So when people say, tell me about supermicrocomputer, there's nothing I can tell you other than the fundamental analysis and what the analysts think, which you can do yourself, and I can teach you and show you how to do it. But that's really the goal. That's really my objective with this account, is not to tell you what I think. What I think is I could be wrong. What do I know? What do you think after you've researched? That's the real goal. Snapchat is down. This is from a YouTube question. Snapchat is down. Kylie Jenner said she doesn't use Snapchat and it tanked on Friday. The thing about the Kardashians or the Jenners or whoever is they hold immense sway because they have such a huge audience, and their audience kind of follows what they do. If they say, I love this pen, everyone's going to run out and buy it because they want that pen. If they say this pen sucks, sales on this pen tank. So the Kardashians have a lot of sway, and when they say I don't like this thing, it can go down. Now, does that mean it's over forever? No. Doesn't mean that it's down forever. It could come back, but what you need to look for is future earnings, or their next earnings report when they issue guidance, and that's a big key giveaway into what the company is looking forward to. Earnings itself are old news. By the time the earnings come out, it's like, okay, you made this or you lost that, you were close, you beat expectations, you missed, whatever it is. What's next? That's the real issue. What's next? This is from a YouTube question. Would the tariffs cause more inflation in the United States? And the answer is yes. Think about what a tariff is. So if you're saying I'm going to keep using water bottle. If you're saying, hey, this water bottle was made in China, and I'm putting a 30% tariff or 20% tariff, and it's on the existing tariffs that we already have, which I think is 18%. So if you put on another 20% tariff on China, that's a humongous tariff. And the tariffs get passed on to us, the consumer. So that water bottle that was $20 might now be $45. It might be $50. They might not just raise it enough to cover the tariff. They might also then raise it a little bit more to make more money. The problem with this, let me see the question here, is would it cause more inflation? Yes, because everything becomes immediately more expensive. Think about everything we get from Canada, like oil and wood. Now that's coming in lumber at a higher price. That leads to inflation. I'm sorry, I'm going back and forth, and it's a little hard to do. But it leads to inflation. All the prices, all the food that we get from overseas now becomes more expensive. You add in Trump's policy to deport a lot of people who work in agriculture, that's food, farming, or construction, and they get deported. Those costs go up. Now, I think the hope is, well, we'll give those jobs to US citizens. Here's the problem. Whether you like it or not, this is how the system is set up. Undocumented workers usually get paid less. And that's the way we keep our costs down, because we're paying them less. It's just like Costco and Walmart and other companies using prison labor on a lot of their food that they sell. It keeps the costs way down. If you had to pay everyone a living wage, prices suddenly go up dramatically. So if you deport a lot of these people, who work in these jobs, and that's one of the unfortunate ways costs are low, costs suddenly go up for two reasons. One, there could be a limited workforce, all right? There might not be US citizens who want to take these jobs. Okay, so then what happens? They have a limited workforce, they can make less stuff, prices go up. Even if US citizens take these jobs, all of a sudden they're getting $15 an hour or whatever the minimum wage is in that particular state. The companies don't just go, oh, well, the companies raise the prices. So things get more expensive on that side. Someone here on Instagram says, I just started investing, planning for the long term, but would like to learn more about Forex. Do you mean Forex like currency? You're asking the wrong guy. I don't trade Forex. Way too risky. XRP thoughts. I like it. I have it. I know Trump is planning on like a crypto national reserve or something like that. I think at first it was just going to be Bitcoin. Now it's expanded to Solana, XRP, and there's another one that I can't remember. Two foodies on, hey, I remember you from Instagram, from TikTok. I mean, how about all those content creators jumping to Lemonade or Red Note? So Lemonade is owned by TikTok, which means Lemonade is down, right? You open it this morning, it doesn't work. So everyone going to Red Note, I mean, sure, fine, try it. That's probably going to get banned too. Let's see here. So, I mean, I could get on Red Note, but it's taken me 6 years to build up my audience on these platforms. That's the real bummer, is that I had a big audience on Instagram and a big audience on YouTube, on TikTok. And now if it's like, well, everyone's going to this one, now I have to start all over again. Not only do I have to start all over again, but if you followed me on TikTok, you know my playlists were incredible. I had 40 playlists, very specific. Growth stocks, ETFs, Roth IRA, dividends, how to make a certain amount of money from dividends. I mean, they were extensive, 40 playlists that took me years to compile. Gone. So that sucks. DJ Bahamas says, thanks, Kenneth. Thank you for your time and sharing your knowledge. Is there an education material or series of books I can get to learn more about the stock market and strategies on trading? Yes, you can go to my link tree, which I unfortunately am not big on YouTube, so I don't know exactly where my link tree is, but if you click on my bio or something like that, you should be able to find it. My link tree has links to an Amazon storefront where you can check out some books, number one, and number two, my website is a tremendous free resource. The reason I got on social media to make financial education content is because there were so many scammers. So that's one of the reasons that I really stayed, is I started noticing buy my course, buy my course, buy my course. I'll make you rich. You see that Lamborghini? You can have it. Just buy my course. And I was like, man, this is so sleazy, and so many innocent people are going to get screwed here. So I started to be the opposite. I'm not going to sell you anything. I could have. You add up the numbers on the amount of people that have been on my website in the last year and have clicked on my templates and my guides and my free resource guide. It's tens of thousands of people. If I sold each thing for $10, I could have made $100,000. Could have made more, but I made zero. So yes, my website is a humongous resource. It's kennethsuna.com. If you click on my resource guide, on my, I think it's my resource guide on my website, you will be able to find all the links to the Amazon store, to find books. My website is a huge resource. Even this YouTube channel is a huge resource. Let's see what we got here. Desert Bonbon on YouTube says, I'm crushed about TikTok's demise. I can only imagine as a creator. Oh, hey, Flower Child on YouTube. Hello. The worst part about TikTok for me going away, not just that I lose my largest audience, which was 370,000 people, 186,000 on Instagram, so still quite a large amount, and only 14 or 15,000 here on YouTube, is that you want to go where the most people are, especially if your goal is to help people. So that sucks. There's something called the TikTok Creator Fund, where you get paid to do nothing other than make your videos. You don't have to do brand deals. You don't have to sell something. You don't have to be in the TikTok shop. They literally just pay you, which is obviously coming from money that the app generates from posting ads on the platform. But you're separated. I'm not having to do it. And in the last 3 months, I made $1,500, which is no small amount. I'm a full-time content creator, so I make my money predominantly through brand deals. But $1,500 doesn't hurt. No one would turn down $1,500 just to do what they're already doing. And that gives me $1,500 that I can say, oh, I'm going to invest it in this stock today, or I'm going to buy more of my ETF, or I'm going to do a little of this investing. So imagine if you had a small business and that got taken away. That sucks. It's a huge bummer. Somebody on YouTube says, what changes now with investing? Should I be worried, or do we just continue with the same as before? So I'm not a financial advisor, so I can't advise you on what to do, but it depends on your investments. If your investments are really just the big three, an S&P 500, S&P 500 index fund, a technology fund, and a dividend fund, or some sort of target date fund, or any sort of high quality ETF, you just keep doing what you're doing. This whole I'm going to step back from the markets because I'm worried about Trump and what he might do. Don't worry about what he's going to do. He might cause total chaos. He might tank the economy to make the rich richer. You don't know that though. And it doesn't really matter because your plan is to be consistent every month with the high quality funds. That's your goal, is to just invest every month for a 20 or 30 year period. And you don't change. You don't stray from that. Now, if you're the type of investor like me, who's already heavily invested, I don't need to dollar cost average every month into funds. So I'm stepping back a little bit, but not at all. I'm still buying stuff. If Apple drops 4% in a day, I'm going to go and buy a couple more shares. Why wouldn't I? I'm not, because I could be wrong. I think there will be a recession in a couple years, but I'm not going to just sit and miss out on what could be more growth in the next year or 2 or 3. I could be wrong. Do you have external quality you use for crypto, or do you leave it on the exchange? I leave it on the exchange. Is NASDAQ tanking, or is this just a correction on the uptrend? I think it's a correction. You have to look at what the markets have done over the last 4 years. It's just high after high after high, and pullbacks are normal. Corrections are normal. It's nothing to freak out about. If you're new to investing and you see, you go in your portfolio and it's red all the way through, and you turn on the news and they're like, the stock market's relax. Who cares? You're not investing for next week. You're investing for your retirement. Andre says, I want to become rich. What do I do? There's 2 ways to become rich in the stock market. One is the long way, which is a certain amount of money into a handful of ETFs every single month for a 30-year period. That's how you get rich the long way. And everyone should do this regardless of their financial situation. You want to make sure that your future is taken care of. You want to make sure that your future is taken care of. But what about in the meantime? What about in your 30s, 40s, and 50s before you retire? Or maybe if you want to retire earlier, that's why you need an individual account as well. So you can max out your Roth IRA in something like technology, and then in your individual account, have the S&P and the dividend fund, and you're like, but wait, in the individual account, I'm going to owe taxes. Dude, who cares? So you owe a little bit in taxes. The objective with the Roth IRA, in my opinion, is to avoid the biggest tax bill possible. What's the biggest gainer any investor is going to ever have? Technology. So you put the technology fund in the Roth IRA to avoid, if you look at FTEC, that's a technology ETF that I like. If you look at FTech, it's up 500% in the last decade. Now, I don't think it's going to do 500% every decade, but even in a 20 or 30-year period, if it's up 1,500%, you want to avoid that 1,500% tax bill down the road when you start selling bits and pieces at humongous gain. You want to avoid that tax bill. So for me, it would all go technology in my Roth and then everything else in the other. Now, the other way to get rich fast is to have a lot of money to invest. That's really it. So you can either have a little bit over a long period of time, or you can invest more. And then the question is, well, how do you get more? That has to come outside of the markets. Stock market isn't a way to get rich quick, generally. You can build big wealth over a shorter period of time. You just need more money to do it. So that more money has to come from something else, like your job, like a side hustle, like something you can do to generate more money. So I don't know what that is for each individual person. Uh, say you live somewhere where it's snowing a lot. Put up signs in your neighborhood. I'll shovel your car, $50. I'll get the whole driveway cleaned. I'll clean off your car, $50. You get 2 or 3 people to give you $50. Now you have another couple $100 to invest that month. You could drive for DoorDash. You could drive for Lyft or Uber. If you live in a neighborhood, you could put up a sign and say, "I'll drive you privately." Um, you could get a power washer. You could power wash driveways, power wash decks. You could clean people's homes. You could do lawn care. You could work on, a website like TaskRabbit and help people assemble stuff. You could cobble together a little bit here, a little bit there, even on a website like Rover. But really, you should find a way to make more money through your career. Do you have the same ETFs on different trading platforms? I don't think I totally understand the question. All ETFs are available everywhere, if that's your question. So you can buy VOO anywhere. You can buy XLK anywhere. If your question is, should you invest in the same ETFs on different accounts? You can, or you don't have to. As a person who's never been into stocks and crypto, where do I begin? You begin with a Roth IRA for your retirement. You want to first make sure that your future is taken care of. That's where you want to go. Future first. And the best way to go about it is to build the foundation first. The mistake a lot of new investors make is that they go, give me the stock that's going to make me really rich really fast. Well, there isn't one. So then you're more susceptible to listening to total strangers on the internet saying, here's the stock. People say, what are your 5 stocks for the year? I don't know. I could pick 5 and be wrong. I could pick 5 and be right. I could pick 5, like the video I posted on TikTok just a few days ago. Somebody said, in 2021, I made a video saying, here were some stocks that might do well under Biden, who had just gotten elected. And the guy said, I'm going to create a portfolio and I'm going to put these 5 stocks in it. Well, if you look back now, 3 of those stocks, or maybe there were 6. Do I have it written down? No. But I think 4 of the stocks are up. 3 of the stocks are up over 100%. 1 was up like 4%. And then 2 were down like 90%. Blink and ChargePoint, which going into something like Blink and ChargePoint that it's speculative. So you should only put in what you're willing to lose. But the mistake a lot of investors make is they see a video on social media and they go, I'm just going to copy. I'm just going to buy whatever that guy was saying. Start easy. Start ETFs. S&P, technology, dividend, build the foundation from there. Once you have a sizable position, and I'm not saying you buy 100 shares and then you stop. This is the kind of thing where you get that sizable position first. Some financial advisors recommend $10,000 in each. If you're only going to go with one, like you only want a technology, you only want dividend, or you only want S&P, then it would be 30,000. This is just what financial advisors recommend, not me. Build the foundation first and then go and say, this stock looks interesting, that stock looks interesting. It doesn't mean, by the way, that you can't have individual stocks sooner than that. This is just kind of like broadly speaking, focus on the foundation first, which is high quality ETFs. Ashcom03, do you think we're heading for a recession? Yes, I do. I think we're going to see a recession in the next not 1 to 2 years, but in the next two, well, maybe 2 to 4. The reason with this, I'm seeing some questions on YouTube too, so I'm going to get to YouTube in a second. Remember that whenever a new president comes in, we're still existing under the old president's policies for a period of time. This is true in any scenario because the president just doesn't come in and say, okay, do my thing now. You have to get it in front of Congress. You have to vote on it. You have to agree on certain policies that you want to put in. Maybe they disagree on stuff. There's drafting of these bills. Everything has to get voted on and passed and then put into the system. It takes time. So what's going to happen is our economy has been mostly pretty strong over the last 4 years. I know prices of things have gone up, but when you look at the metrics that we look at to determine whether our economy is strong, those numbers have gone up. The economy is strong in that way. It might not be strong in the sense that people aren't earning a living wage or inflation and stuff like that, but the metric of are we in a recession says no, we're not, and actually things are doing okay. So we continue with this for year one of Trump, and Trump is going to say, look, I mean, there are a lot of big companies reporting earnings this week. I got it here. Oh, I don't have it here. Okay, so we've got like Netflix reporting earnings this week. Let's see, we've got 3M, D.R. Horton, which is a home builder, Kinder Morgan, Procter & Gamble, Abbott Labs, Johnson & Johnson, Halliburton, CSX, Texas Instruments, Verizon. So a lot of big companies are reporting this week. So what's going to happen? If they report really strong earnings, Trump is going to say, it's me, I'm already doing it. But once he starts implementing his policies and they start taking effect, I think if they're done the way he wants, it will be very detrimental. If is the key word. And it won't happen tomorrow and it won't happen next year. It'll take some time to start trickling in. We'll have to start looking at what the companies are saying in their earnings. Oh, we had to raise our prices dramatically because of the tariffs. Oh, we had to raise, we had a limited supply of workforce because of the deportations. Oh, all these policies really took a toll on our stock. Things tanked. Also factor in that if these tariffs cause inflation, it could cause a recession because people would buy less. These are all big ifs. Cindy Liu says a lot of ETFs have Apple as the top holding. Why more Apple versus more ETFs? So a lot of ETFs are market cap weighted. So what that means is the largest company is going to be their largest investment. It depends on the way the ETF is structured. Some ETFs are passively managed, which means we copy what the index does. The index being S&P, NASDAQ, Dow Jones, whatever, Russell 2000. So if the largest company in that index is Apple, then in that ETF, it's going to be Apple as the largest. If you have that's passively managed. It just means we copy what the index does. The alternative is actively managed. That means someone like Cathie Wood or I forget that guy's name that nobody likes. Bill something. The hell is his name? Pershing Square Capital is his hedge fund, but I can't remember his name. I'm sure somebody's saying it. If he's picking or she's picking what goes in, then it might not be market cap weighted. It might be based on their own personal opinion. I don't like, by the way, going live on TikTok, on Instagram. When I'm live on TikTok, it shows me how many people have commented that I'm missing. I can't see that. I will get to everyone, I promise. Is Coinbase a good buy still? Coinbase is hugely volatile based on crypto, which is hugely volatile. So in the one way, regulation helps kind of cool down crypto. because it makes it less scammy, less rug pulley, less sleazy, and that's good. It also makes it a little less volatile, which is good, but also bad for the Coinbase stock because it swings like crazy, which makes it a great thing to sell covered calls on or to trade. But as a long-term investment, smoothing out some of that volatility is a benefit. What IPOs are you excited for this year? So if you don't know how to find IPOs, you can go on Google and you can type in IPO calendar 2025, and it'll take you to a couple different websites. The first one is NASDAQ, and it'll show you the calendar for IPOs in 2025. I'm not seeing a whole lot that's jumping out. Let me go. Actually don't like the NASDAQ website. I think the other one was smoother. Let's see. Oh, IPO calendar. Is that the one I like? Um, so MarketWatch has one, and it's a lot of stuff I've never heard of. A lot of biopharmaceutical stuff that can skyrocket and tank. Some AI stuff. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of AI companies. There's nothing really on this list that jumps out at me as like exciting. But that's the thing about the stock market is things change all the time. What do you think about Nebius stock? I've never heard of it. All I would say is go to my website, kennethsooner.com, and click on the menu and look at my fundamental analysis template. And that will give you all the information you need. Let's see here. What are your thoughts on, okay, I already answered that one. What do you think about crypto market post Trump? Well, I think Trump is very pro crypto, so that should be a benefit to crypto. Are you buying Nike 5-year low? I'm not buying Nike, but you've got a couple options as a Nike investor. So option one is it's at a 5-year low. It's Nike. They're going to figure something out, right? They're too big to just give up and go, oh, well, we just couldn't adapt and couldn't change. So one strategy is, well, I'll just buy a little here and see what happens. The other strategy, which is what I would do, is wait for the recovery to work. So I don't know. Let's see here what Nike is trading for. I think it's in the 60s or 70s. So it's $70. So for me, hi Lisa, I see you. For me, with something like Nike, I would rather wait for the turnaround. I would rather wait for them to say, here's what we're going to do. And 4 or 8 months later, it's working. That means I might be paying $90 per share for Nike. And you might say, well, you should have bought it when it was 70. But that's a big should have, because maybe what they're doing doesn't work. Maybe they implement some policies and they implement some changes, and then it drops to 50. Nobody knows. So I personally would rather buy into the strength than the weakness. I think the first half of 2025 just kind of continues with what we've been seeing. I'm going to drop to the bottom now. There's a lot of comments in here. A lot of people joining too. Hello. Man, I really like TikTok Live better. I hope it comes back. It's just showing me everyone who joined. I'm not seeing any questions. He said it's a conflict of interest for Trump. I think it's going to be a rug pull. So I think this was all by design. We're going to make this coin right before the election. It's going to skyrocket because of me and people like me. And then I'm going to be forced to sell it right before I take office. So it's not a conflict of interest. And what happens? He's the largest holder. It tanks the thing and he makes money. I don't know what it's called in crypto, but in the world of stocks, it's called lockup. When a company goes public, you can't sell it for 60, 90, 120 days, whatever you decide, to prevent manipulation. There's not anything like this with the Trump meme stock or whatever, meme coin, which means he can rug pull and sell as much as he wants, take your money, and laugh all the way to the bank. No, I'm seeing comments in here. Let me look at YouTube for a minute. If you can make these YouTubes 1080p or more, they'll look better. Okay, we'll do that. Encourage your IG followers to come to YouTube. Yes, everyone, go follow me on YouTube. I much prefer to chat on YouTube. IG has always been a mystery to me. Shall we put in our portfolio some recession-proof stocks? And is there a recession-proof ETF? So generally speaking, when it comes to recession-proofing your portfolio, this isn't something you should suddenly do. This is just something you should always have. It's just a diverse portfolio. That's the goal, to always have a diverse portfolio. When you have a diverse portfolio, you're always going to be protected, because you could be, 40% technology and 40% consumers defensive stocks that are good in recessions, and then bonds or CDs or just cash or whatever for the other 20%, and you have an insulated portfolio. That means in a recession, tech stocks get hit really hard, but your stuff like Johnson and Johnson and Dollar General and even stuff like McDonald's, because people look for more affordable food options, those do well. They have a track record of doing well, which means you won't get a lot of growth, but you will get insulation in your portfolio, and you'll get dividends. Let's see here. Prem on YouTube says they started with grifting by releasing the Trump coin and already cashed out 500 million. I believe also with the Trump coin that there are huge fees associated with it too. So they're making all of that in fees. Cindy Lou, I'm seeing some comments. Cindy Lou says, fun fact, Nike was the top shoe in high school in the 70s and 80s, and they are still around. And I think that they're still the top shoe. They've just had some trouble competing. OF says, I am 40% tech, 30% S&P. Others are like dividend growth and REITs. That sounds like a pretty great portfolio. Yeah, I guess everything, it's easier on YouTube in terms of commenting. So if you have a comment, it's youtube.com/Kenneth Suna, or you can just search for me on YouTube. Hey, Kindhearted is in here under a different username, but I recognize you. Hello. ASML or Louis Vuitton. So those feel like very different companies to me, right? I mean, ASML is technology, isn't it? Let's see here. Oh no, they're not. Sorry, I'm reading the wrong company. Right? No. ASML is semiconductors and technology, and LVMH is Louis Vuitton. So you're asking me to compare two incomparable companies. You can't compare the semiconductor to Louis Vuitton, which owns Moet and Hennessy and other fancy brands. What I can tell you to do is use my fundamental analysis template on my website. It's kennethsuna.com, and it's free. Let's see. They just keep interrupting this live with ads, and I keep missing what you say. Really? There's ads on here? Oh. I didn't know that. Edit. Monetization. Cindy says I got bumped off. I'm sorry. Anyone else having performance issues with YouTube? That's a bummer. Okay. Let's see what we have here on TikTok. I wanted to say I appreciate you. This is my first time watching as well. Hello, welcome to the live. And thank you all for all the new followers too. If you have a question, use the actual questions tab, then you can read them. I can. Is there a question? Oh, I see it. Oh my God, this is so much better. Okay, I like this. It's me, Kindhearted. Will you upload old entries into YouTube? Old lives? Probably not. Well, I have some of my old lives on YouTube. What do you think of Enovix? I have never heard of it. I would again say use my fundamental analysis template. Okay, so there is a questions tab, I guess. I don't see it on my end, but I do see down here at the bottom of my screen right here a little circle with a question mark in it, and questions go there. So if you know how to tell people in the comments to leave questions there, go leave questions there, because that's where I'm going to be able to see them, not in the chat. The chat is really annoying. It's just like so-and-so joined, wave, so-and-so joined, wave. Let's see. So yes, Mr. Hustle, to you. Thank you for recommending the questions tab. How do I watch Instagram live on the background on a phone? I don't know. What do you think about dividend stocks and ETFs between 20 and 70 versus what? Where's the end? Um, well, I never found it. Let's see. Life changing gains. Do you have a course on selling covered calls? No, I don't have a course, but I do have a playlist on YouTube. My playlist on YouTube has a full basically walkthrough on covered calls, how to sell them, what they are, what some of the risks are, also going over some of the covered call ETFs, which can make you money but can also lose you money. Lisa says, I learned on TikTok that a lot of politicians have bought more Meta since last month because they knew it would benefit Meta stock. Yes, 100% true. You can go on a website like Capital Trades and you can search specifically for Meta and you can say, show me all the buys. And we can see right here, I have it up. I had it up because I figured someone was going to ask about this. Jonathan Jackson, Democrat, bought on January 17th, so just a few days ago. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Republican, bought, it looks like 3 days ago. Michael McCall, Republican, he bought 1, 2, 3, 4 times over the last, all in November. Going back further, we have Jared Moskowitz, Democrat, Florida, Ro Khanna. Funny, Ro Khanna, because Ro Khanna on TikTok was the one trying to save TikTok and getting a bill up and all of that, but also in November was buying Meta stock. Byron Donalds, Republican, bought. Marjorie Taylor Greene bought more in October. John James, Republican, bought. This Michael McCall guy from Texas buying an awful lot. Michael Kelly, Republican, bought. Josh Gottheimer, Democrat, bought. You can just scroll through the list. Mark Wayne Mullen, big Trump guy, bought. Blake Moore, Republican, bought. Jerry Morin, Republican, bought. Yeah, a lot of these guys were buying Meta. They knew exactly what they were doing. All right, I'm seeing a lot of questions roll in. Is it worth holding the crypto coin? I'm not sure exactly what that means because there are lots of different cryptocurrencies out there. So it depends on what you're getting. There are some cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum that have more stability in the markets. They're more widely known. There are actually ETFs that track, I think, Ethereum too, but maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong on that one. Dan Wells, first time here. Thoughts on nuclear and quantum stocks for long term, like Oklo and NewScale Energy, and Rigetti and IonQ for quantum feels less risky that crypto have to put up with than the crypto that I have to put up with 10%. So 10% in speculative companies is very high. Most financial advisors say 5% in speculative investments, money you're willing to lose. If you've been watching lately, the quantum computing stocks have gotten crushed because the guy from NVIDIA, Jensen Huang, came out and said, it's like 20 years away, and they tanked. Then the problem with this is, in the world of stocks and investing, the problem with this is that you get all these conspiracy theories. On the one hand, people are saying, oh, he's right. This technology is a long way away from becoming broadly used. And on the other hand, you have the conspiracy people saying, he wants to acquire these companies at the cheap, so he's tanking it. And it's hard to know which is real. What's the general rule of percentages for Roth portfolio? There generally isn't a rule. It depends on your age, your risk tolerance, and your individual account. For me, if you're on the younger side, and I'm saying 40s and under is on the younger side because you still have 20 plus years till retirement. Then what I would do is I would go 100% technology in my Roth IRA to avoid the largest tax bill. And then in my individual account, I'd have S&P and dividends. Yes, you'll owe some taxes on the dividends. Yes, you'll owe profit on anything you take before you get to retirement. Who cares? Just pay the tax. It's not a big deal. The objective is to avoid the biggest tax bill possible. So why would you put in something like a dividend ETF where you avoid paying taxes on a 3% annual dividend, and maybe it goes up 100% in a decade, and you want to avoid taxes on that, I'll pay taxes on that in a heartbeat if I can avoid a 500% gain on my technology. Is it worth the Trump coin? Sorry. I think the Trump coin is a rug pull. I think it is a scheme to enrich Trump and his people at the expense of their base and their fans. So I would be extremely cautious. There is no thing in the coin that says he's required to hold it for a certain period of time. They've also made millions, if not more, on fees. So they're profiting off of their base. And the day before he comes into office, I would almost near guarantee that he's going to dump as much as he can, and so are his friends and his family and his kids, and they're going to make unbelievable money, and they're going to laugh that their base was stupid enough to get conned into this. That's my feeling. I could be wrong. Regarding cryptos, do you think that Bitcoin is the one? I don't really think anything is the one. That's why I'm a big fan of being diversified. Ashcom03, if I'm in the S&P 500, should I also invest in QQQM even though there's a lot of overlap? You don't have to. So I'm not a big fan of overlap. That means two different ETFs hold a lot of the same companies or investments. That means you're owning the same thing basically twice. So if you look at how an S&P 500 index fund is structured, it's about 30% technology. And if you look at QQQM, it's about 50% technology, which means you're just getting about 20% more. Now, if you look at the growth, I think an S&P is up around 190%, and QQQM is like up 300 or 400%. So it definitely outperforms. But you have a lot of the same investments. So for me, if I wanted more technology in my portfolio, I wouldn't want 20% more. I'd want 100%. I'd want an S&P 500 index fund that gives me broad market, boring, slow, and steady. Then instead of QQQM, I personally would pick something like FTech, XLK, or VGT, a technology ETF that is 100% technology. And then to insulate my portfolio, I would pick something like a dividend ETF. Yes, Mr. Hustle, I'm getting all the questions from the question box. That's what I'm answering right now. Kind-hearted. It says, how will we see the questions in real time? I don't know. Let me go and look at some from YouTube now, if there are any. Trump donates his salary. This is like optics. Trump is making so much money through his businesses, through the things that he's selling, through his stock, through his meme coins, his shirts, his belts, his Bibles, his sneakers, all of his merchandise. When you look at it, it's just purely for optics, right? What does this president make? 200,000. So he says, "Oh yeah, we'll donate the 200,000, and everyone's going to think I'm so great." Meanwhile, I'm making millions off of my followers through all of my other things. So it's not this like nice thing. It's really just optics to say I'm the only one who's ever done it. Well, he's also the only other president who's sold stock and crypto and clothes and shoes and Bibles with his name on it. So, you know, OF says Kenneth is the only person who I would pay for a course, but he provides it for free. That's right, it's free. Let's see here if there's any more questions in my question box. Rick Gilbert is in here. Hello. Are we missing TikTok yet? Yes, I miss it so much. I like the live format on TikTok so much better. I'm also live on YouTube right now. So if you're not following me on YouTube, please go follow me there as well. He gave 25 million to Asheville. Is that true, or did he just say that he did? Let's see here. Man, I hate going live on Instagram. This sucks. Desirable ratio of dividends to growth stocks. That depends on your age. So for someone who's a little bit older, I'm talking like 50s and above, You don't want so much growth in your portfolio because growth is risky short term. Long term, it's incredibly lucrative, which is why if you're 20, 30, or 40, you want to be heavy in growth and less heavy in dividends. But if you're in your 50s, think about if you had 70% technology in your portfolio and a recession came through. Now, and your portfolio dropped 40 or 50% in value, which is possible. If you're 20, who cares? You just buy more and it recovers over time. Um, but if you're 55 and your portfolio drops by 40 or 50%, now you have to wait for everything to just get back to even, which means you're not going to start selling your investments and retire because you lost 40% of your money. Now you have to wait for everything to slowly come back up and then continue. That could be 10 years. And if you're 60, now you might not be able to retire till you're 70. So for me, it depends on the age. When you're 20s, 30s, 40s, you could be 60, 70% tech and growth and 30% dividends. And as you get older, you want that number to switch. That's what I would do, but that's not financial advice. It's just what I would do. If you have a question on Instagram, please do the thing that makes it go to the question. I don't see it on my side, but you can leave a comment. Please make it that way that we can watch it live later. I will if I know how to do that. Rick Gilbert, where can I get a ticker clock like you have behind you? This is called a tidbit. If you're on YouTube, there it is. It's a live display. Tidbit used to be a whole lot cooler than it is now. There used to be an app where you could have tickers for stocks as well. And you could put in Apple, Nvidia, whatever, and it would show you throughout the day. The person who made that plugin stopped updating it. They quit or they just lost interest in it. So now there is no stock ticker. It's just crypto. And they keep saying, we're trying to find someone, but who knows? Zuckerberg seems like an alien. Zuckerberg is a bag of trash. Let's see here. Zuckerberg only pays himself $1. Right. So you know, a lot of these CEOs will tell you, "Oh, I'm not taking that big of a salary. You know, aren't I wonderful?" Like I think Jeff Bezos did the same thing. But they get stock options. They get stock. They go in periodically. They sell, you know, 10 million shares. They walk out, you know, 30, 40 million dollars, and they can buy. Zuckerberg was sitting. He had that watch in his little video with the necklace. The watch is a $900,000 watch. So be careful when these people tell you, "Oh, I'm donating my salary," or "I'm not taking a salary." It's just optics. They're just lying to you. It's like Leonardo DiCaprio driving around a Prius, but then he has a jet. You know what I mean? Okay, I see some questions coming in. I answered the Trump coin one, so I'm going to clear that out. What is your favorite best stock you will never sell but keep adding to? For me, it's probably going to be Apple. But for every investor, it's going to be something different. Remember, I bought Apple over 20 years ago. When Apple was a massive growth company. Now they're less of a massive growth company. They still grow. Rick Gilbert says, what's the difference between QQQ versus XLK? So in the last 10 years, QQQ has gone up 400%. QQQ is about 50% technology. XLK is 100% technology. And in the last 10 years, it has gone up 464%. So the difference is it's 50% more technology, and it's gone up 64% more. And the expense ratio or the fee is 0.09, and for QQQ, it's 0.2. So QQQ, much higher expense ratio. You can also get QQQM, which is the same thing, and the expense ratio is 0.15. So smaller expense ratio, same thing. What do you think of VUG as an alternative to a 100% tech ETF? VUG is, let's see here, it's the growth fund. I don't think it's 100% tech. It's about 50% technology. VUG in the last 10 years is up 297%. So, but it has a much lower expense ratio, 0.04. But for me, I would go QQQM, which is cheaper. It has a higher fee, but way more growth over the 10-year period. Give credit where credit is due. You're biased. These people put $7 million businesses out of work, and when Trump fixes it, it's all for show. Well, I think it is all for show. The Democrats really dropped the ball on this one too. Trump first says we're thinking about banning TikTok. That was during his first run. Then Joe Biden goes, yeah, we're also thinking about banning TikTok. They put it into this stupid bill. It passes. Then, like a week ago, Joe Biden comes out and goes, oh, actually, I don't think we should ban TikTok, but I'm running out of time. So we'll just let the next administration handle it. So you're saying that you're going to give Trump the ability to claim credit for this? Oops. And suspicious to me. Very suspicious. I'm curious, does Musk donate anything? I don't think Musk gives a shit about anyone or anything. And if he does donate, it's probably to himself. You know, he probably has his own charity. Kindhearted says, you can't see anything typing on the main screen. I can, but on my end, it's just showing every single person who joins. And then it says wave. So it's like AJ Thomas joined, wave. 00 Dev, wave. Maldito, wave. Arun, wave. So I can't see, it's so many people joining that I can't see all the comments. So if you do want to ask me a question, TikTok will stay down until Mr. Wonderful joins it. Maybe. Let's see. What are your top 5 stocks to invest in this year? I don't give top 5 stocks. The way my channel is structured is you have to find your own, which means you have to learn and you have to research and you have to find what you think are the best stocks. My top 5 could be trash. Kindhearted, I see that one. I'll be going to YouTube. I think YouTube is a little bit better. Emma, hey Emma, I just found you here. I've ditched Instagram. So Instagram, it seems like no one likes the live setup here. I'm with you on that. I don't like it either. I would prefer to only go live on YouTube, but right now there are 50 people on Instagram and 30 people here on YouTube. So I'm gonna go where the people are. Are we missing TikTok yet? Yes. Let's see. Made it to the TikTok afterlife. Yes, hello. Why do you not own Berkshire? How do you know what I own? Let's see. I'm going to try to scroll through the comments here and see if there's anything I missed. Hello, I see some people saying hi to me. What's your take on S&P this year after the inauguration? I mean, S&P, nobody's investing in the S&P for 1 year. They're investing in it for 30 years, so it doesn't really matter. I think it'll probably be fine. Hey, Jonathan Judas is in here. Hello. Somebody says buy Nike. They finally fixed the reply on IG Live. Only took 3 years. Can you sell stocks inside of a Roth and buy new ones? Yes. So with a Roth IRA, let's say you buy stock in, I don't know, Alibaba, and 5 months later you go, I'm having some feelings about this. You're not required to hold it forever. Just because it's in your retirement account doesn't mean that you're stuck with it. You can buy and sell. You can even day trade in a Roth IRA. It's not recommended because you can only day trade. You can only put in $7,000 per year. And when day trading for me is, I make the money from day trading to pay for my life, for my groceries, my condo fees, my bills. So I want that money. So I wouldn't day trade in the Roth, but you can. You can buy and sell anything, anytime you want. So if you buy a stock in your Roth IRA and you decide you don't like it anymore, of course you can sell it and buy something different. Oy, oy, oy. I think I've answered everything, at least that I've seen. Um, hey, Danielle and William, I came here from Instagram. Hello. I'm not seeing any I mean, I'm seeing some people talk. I'm seeing some people talk and having conversations, but I'm not seeing a lot of questions here. However, I have reached my 1 hour, which is how long I go live for usually, and we've done it. My lives usually I'm going to be honest with you guys. The lives on TikTok were way better. My Sunday lives usually had 1,000 people in them, asking a lot of questions. The format was easier. I don't like the format here at all. um, can you simply explain price to earnings ratio? So the price to earnings ratio compares the price of a stock to the company's earnings. Companies like that are in the growth space, like Tesla or Nvidia, their price is going to be way higher than their earnings because Wall Street is forward looking and investors are optimistic. So they look at something like Nvidia and they go, they're only going to become more and more powerful over the next 5, 10, 15 years. So I'm willing to overpay. It is overvalued. The price of the stock is up here, but the earnings are down here. It should be a little closer. So 30 is usually like, the rule of thumb of like price to earnings ratio should be somewhere in the 30 range. So where it's like 30 times earnings. Sometimes with growth stocks, you see it 200 times, 300 times. At one point, Tesla was 1,000 times earnings, but Wall Street didn't care because they were like, once they start making money, undervalued is good too. Sometimes a stock price can fall dramatically below earnings because the company sucks and their guidance is bad and there's management and problems like that, and the stock can be undervalued. Other times it can be like a diamond in the rough where it's like, wow, they're making some money, but the stock is low. Huh. So that's when you have to research these things. Let's see here. What are your thoughts on ETH A? I have no idea what that is. Sorry. Um, let's see. Yeah, it's a dual platform. So I'm live on Instagram on my let's see here. My phone is on my tripod. So I'm on Instagram live and YouTube live. And I'm not sure I like this method. I feel like I'm ignoring YouTube or ignoring Instagram. So going forward, I think I'll probably stay on YouTube. I don't know how to pronounce your name. It's the car. I assume you say you want to get these 3 ETFs, but you're not sure which day to buy. It doesn't really matter. Some people can buy on the first day of the month. Some people on the 15th. Some people on the last day of the month. It really doesn't matter as long as you're being consistent and investing every single month. This idea like which day is the best? You could get the best day of the month. You could get the worst day. You know what I mean? There's no point in worrying about it. When the market opens on Tuesday, I don't know what to expect because of the inauguration. You and me both. The market is generally pretty volatile. And when, Wall Street doesn't like unknowns. Trump is the epitome of unknown because what's he going to actually do? What are his actual plans? What was elected and what does he really want to do? Nobody knows. 200%. Or Palantir up 80 or 90%, all in a year. 40% for me, I wouldn't take profits on that unless it was extremely speculative and a short-term trade, not a long-term investment. But you could take out half, you could take out a quarter, you could take out nothing. For me, generally, I don't have a rule of thumb of when I take profits. I knew a guy once a long time ago at my gym who said, anytime up 100%, I take out half. Well, 100% now can happen in no time at all. 20 years ago was very different. To see a stock go up 100% in a year was like, wow. Now there's like dozens of stocks that can do 100% in a year. It froze. All right, I'm sorry. I hope it's back. Um, it seems like it's back, but it might have also froze. I don't know. It looks fine to me. Nothing ever froze on me. Um, yeah, um, there's no set rule on like, oh, you're up 80%. Now you must do this, or generally you should do that. Will you go back to TikTok when the ban is lifted? Yes, 100,000%. TikTok is my preferred platform. Live on Instagram sucks. I'm sorry, I hate it. Live on YouTube apparently has glitches. There are ads. I don't know how to turn them off. Um, YouTube sucks too. I like the live on TikTok the best. I like editing and filming videos on TikTok the best. Um, so yes, I will be going back. But generally, when you sell is entirely up to you. There's really no one size fits all answer. Like, oh, if you're up this amount, you take that amount. Um, Kind-hearted, I agree. This sucks. It sucks. Where did you get that cool live ticker thing? This is called a tidbit. They used to have a plugin for stocks. Whoever was making that plugin stopped making it, so now there are no stocks. It's just crypto, and you can get other things on it too. Like this is the solar system. Um, they did the ban for greed. I agree. It was all greed. This is all money. This is all money. Everyone says it's control. They want to control. I think it's money. You can have the weather here. If you click on the link in my bio, this is the subway times for New York City. I don't live in New York City. I live in DC, but I'm nostalgic for New York City, so I have that. Thoughts on Wendy's is at a 52-week low. Um, Wendy's is a tough one because they've got a lot of locations. People like it, but you can't really compete with the size and scale of McDonald's. Apparently, everything is antiquated. It feels that way on Instagram. Do you upload all the videos you submit on TikTok to YouTube and Instagram as well? Yes, I do. That's a YouTube question. So recently, because of the TikTok ban, there was a lot of panic about, oh my God, my videos. Not for me. Much like the stock market, I am diversified in my platforms. I'm not exclusively 100% in Apple. I'm in a lot of different stocks. I'm not exclusively on TikTok. I've been on Instagram and YouTube for 7 years. So people are saying, "Where are you going? Where are you going?" I'm already everywhere. So I'm in the habit of on TikTok. The minute I post a video on TikTok, I save it and I repost it to Instagram and YouTube. Michael says, I like how you say you don't need to make all of the money. You just need to make some of it. 100%. That's my method for trading stocks. As a stock trader, you will get greedy. It's inevitable. If you buy 1,000 shares of something and it goes up 20 cents, you've made $200. And you're like, well, if it went up 20 cents, maybe it can go up another 10. Maybe I can make $300. Huh. No, you made $200, man. Don't be greedy. So for me, the goal isn't I have to make, and then what happens is you're up 20 cents, you sell it, you make $200, and then you watch it and it goes up another 10 cents. And you're like, oh no, if I had just held it a few more minutes longer, I could have made another $100. Oh, well, I'll buy it now and it'll go up another 10 cents. And then what happens? It drops 30 cents and you lose the money that you just made. So don't do that. Don't be an idiot. Don't be greedy. Just make a little bit. That's the goal. Stevie says, different camera angle is throwing me off. Yeah, I decided to switch it up for my live today. Usually I'm in my bedroom where the wall behind me is black. But, switching it up. Thoughts on Pepsi? They're getting hit with many lawsuits. Yeah, these lawsuits, to me, lawsuits are no big deal. Any major company is expecting that there's going to be a lawsuit at one point or another. They're almost always going to settle. Maybe if there's a fine, it's going to be a slap on the wrist. Could present as a great buying opportunity when the stock goes down a little bit because of the news. Oh no, they're being sued. Mr. I don't know how to pronounce your last name. Quoto says, thanks for keeping it super simple. That's the goal here, is to keep it simple. A lot of people try to make investing sound really, really complicated so they can sell you something. Not me. I don't sell anything. I'm not here to make your money or take your money. What industry do you think will grow the most in the 20 years? Solar? I don't think solar is going to be a massive growth company unless we get political policies in favor of it. Because then they might be required by law. Hey, you know, 70%, 70% of you know, these buildings are going to have to put solar panels on. Wow, oh my God, that's going to be huge. You know, and then all the solar companies explode in growth. But there's no law or requirement politically or regulation that says, oh, you all have to do this now. So I don't know if that's going to be the fastest growing. It might grow a little bit. Um, but for me, I think it's going to be quantum computing and AI. Kind of obvious answer, but that's what I think. Meta is a big reason when it happened. Meta's up 60%. Yeah, Cindy is 100% correct here that this was all done by Meta. And, you know, Zuckerberg has a lot of FEC Federal Trade. He's got a lot of like he's under a lot of investigations for a lot of things. So of course you cozy up to Trump, you donate money to Trump, you say, hey Trump, we'll do all the things you want on our platform. And hey, by the way, could you do something about these investigations? So it all kind of reeks of greed. You can also go on a website like Capital Trades and you can see what politicians bought Meta stock in the last few months. And guess what? It's a lot of them, Democrat and Republican. So the whole thing just reeks. And then Trump gets to be the hero by bringing it back. You know, who knows how it's going to be brought back? You know, if Meta is involved somehow, then Meta becomes literally a social media monopoly, and they have all the power in the government to not investigate and not break it down or not break it up. So Meta can own literally everything. You basically have an oligarchy where you have Elon controlling X, Bezos controlling the newspapers, Zuckerberg controlling social media, and they can make these apps exactly the way they want to appease Trump, to not get sued, to not be investigated. Remember, Trump was not a big fan of Facebook. He said at one point he said TikTok wasn't the issue. We should actually ban Facebook. Well, Zuckerberg is afraid of that. So these guys are all cowards, and they're afraid of Trump, and so they're bending and kissing his ass. That's all it is. Let's see here. I wonder if we could get a tech company to step up and provide a better platform. That would be nice, but I don't think so. I just don't see that happening. In your opinion, what steps can I take to ensure my portfolio remains resilient in a potential recession? So generally what you want to do is always be diversified, right? It's similar to what I was just talking about with TikTok getting shut down. All of a sudden, these creators are scrambling. Oh my God, I have to download my videos. I have to open an Instagram. I have to open a YouTube. Everyone go follow me. If you've already been doing this, then for me, it's just like, hey, TikTok is gone. That really sucks. I'm on Instagram. I'm on YouTube. I'm already everywhere. And that's how you have to be with your portfolio as well. That's how you have to be as well with your investments. You can't just be 100% technology and then a recession shows up and you're like, oh no, what do I do? It always benefits you to be diversified. That's the goal all the time, not just because of Trump or because of this or because of that. You always want to be diversified. And the way that you are diversified is by, first of all, you know, how old are you? If you're younger, you can have more technology in your portfolio. If you're a little older, you want to rebalance that because technology can be extremely volatile short term. So if you are 20, 30, or even 40s, you could be 50, 60% tech, and then the rest in dividends and slow moving stocks, consumer defensive companies, stuff like Coca-Cola, Walmart, Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble, pharmaceuticals, alcohol, tobacco. Whether you like them, maybe you're ethical and you say, I can't invest in those. Okay, then you don't. But if you can, you know, it doesn't matter what's happening in the world. If you're addicted to cigarettes, you're addicted to cigarettes. What happens in recessions? People get depressed, they drink more. So maybe you don't want to profit off of that. Maybe that makes you feel yucky. On the other hand, yes, Twitch, I know, I have to get on Twitch. I made a critique of billionaires not paying their fair share in taxes. It got taken down for not being accurate. Yeah, that sucks. I've never gone live on YouTube before, and people are telling me that there are ads. So I'm going to look into the settings when I end this live momentarily. I will look into that. Kind-hearted says consider Twitch. I will. I'm gonna look into it. First time here. Oh, I already answered that one. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this. I am not a big fan of this live setup on Instagram. I'm sure there are questions in the comments that I'm missing. Um, can you recommend someone who is halal investment? I'm not, but I do have videos on halal investing. If you go to my YouTube and you search under my videos, you can type in halal investing. It will take you to the videos. I think there's only one right now. There aren't really, to be honest, a lot of halal ETFs. There are a few. You can also go on a website like Seeking Alpha and you can type in two things. You can either type in halal ETFs. Well, I can't because my keyboard is glitching. Halal ETF, and it takes you to the HLAL, which is the Wahid Sharia ETF. You can also type in Sharia ETF, and it will show you the others. SPUS is Sharia Industry Exclusions. There's also a Canadian version, but there's not really a lot. Are any of us on Twitch? I'm not. I'm not on Twitch. I would have to go and join. So that's annoying. What do you think of Uber? I have no opinion on Uber. I would again urge you all to go to my website, which is kennethsuna.com, and click on the menu. And you can find everything you need for free, including my investment fundamental analysis, which, like I said, is free. All right, everybody, I'm going to wrap up these dual lives. There are 34 people in here, 34 people, funny enough, on Instagram as well. I don't know where I'm going to go next Tuesday. I go live every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Kava, I love. I asked earlier about Porsche. What's your thoughts on Porsche? I have no opinion on Porsche. I didn't even really know you could invest in Porsche, to be honest. I don't know what their symbol is, but I would say go on my website and use my fundamental analysis template. POAHY is Porsche. It's a penny stock. It's $3. It looks like it's garbage. It has a warning of dividend safety grade of F. Let's see here. You'll be back on TikTok. Yes, I will. TikTok will come back. Trump will do something. I'm sure he's going to do something. Either Trump will do something or we will broker some sort of sale or partial sale, or they'll reach some deal. Lisa says, hey, sorry I'm late. And unfortunately for you, you're late and the live is over because I'm wrapping up. I think so Twitch was a video game streaming, predominantly video game streamers. So people would play video games with their headset on and people would watch them play video games and talk. And it's kind of expanded now outside of just video games. Sorry if you asked a question and I didn't answer it on Instagram. The live setup here absolutely sucks. It's atrociously bad compared to how TikTok was. There is a questions tab where you can ask a question, but for some reason I'm not seeing them all because it says that there are 2 new ones and I don't see them. So the setup here really sucks. YouTube is a little bit better, but please go follow me on YouTube. It's Kenneth Suna at youtube.com/Kenneth Suna, or you can just search for me there. Sam, I think I answered your question. My prediction for the S&P for 2025, I think it's just going to continue to do what it does. I don't make predictions, in the sense where I'll say like, I predict in 2025 it will go up 20%. I don't know. Nobody knows. Everyone's just guessing. Seeking Alpha for research. Any others? Yes. If you go to kennethsuna.com and you click on the menu, which if you're on your computer, it's going to be up here, those 3 little bars. Click on the 3 little bars. The menu pops open and you're looking for something called a do your own research guide. It is 100% free. There's no email sign up and it has links to everything. It has links to everything. So please go and get my guide. There's no email sign up. It is free. I think if we pay a fee to YouTube, we can get the service ad free. I'm going to look into turning off these ads on YouTube. I don't know how they're on. They must just come on automatically. So I'm going to disable them. I just don't know how to do it. And I don't want to be tinkering around during the live. Does your site say how to buy a fund on Schwab for S&P? Yes, there are lots of videos, walkthrough videos, but buying is generally very easy to do in your brokerage. You just hit the button that says buy. Um, so I don't know where I will be next week. I did a joint live today, YouTube over here, Instagram on the phone. I don't like this setup. It feels like I'm distracted and I'm missing comments on YouTube and then I'm missing comments on Instagram. So Tuesday I go live at 10:30. I don't know where I'm going to go. Probably YouTube. So if you open up TikTok or Instagram on Tuesday and I'm not live at 10 a.m., go to my YouTube and I will see you all later. Thank you for watching. Desert Bonbon says I didn't pay any fees and I didn't see any ads. Some people did. So I don't know. Yes, look for me. Look for me. I'll be everywhere. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Sorry about this. I know that the TikTok live is so much more of a pleasurable experience for everyone, myself included. I don't like either one of these. YouTube live sucks. Instagram live sucks. Altria MO is a great dividend option to consider as a part of a diversified portfolio, of course, if you're okay with investing in big tobacco. David Rose, TikTok, hopefully back soon. Yeah, I hope so as well. All right, everyone, thanks for watching. If you're new on Instagram and you're a new follower, thank you for following. I'll say the same thing that I say to everybody. There are a lot of fake accounts, especially on Instagram and TikTok, RIP. I don't know if there's a lot on YouTube, but if you're a new subscriber on YouTube, thank you as well. Anna says she got 6 ads. That is insane. I'm sorry. I will turn them off. And I'll be back later. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good day. Please go follow me on YouTube. I think that's where I would rather do these lives. I'm still here. Hi, everyone. Instagram sucks. Cindy. All right, everyone. I'm going to wrap this up. I don't know where I go to wrap it up. Here it is, end stream. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great rest of your weekend.